mess up, they forget a lot of IPs. So this is always good to check. And good tip as well. When you create your filter, always put the date on your filter, because then you don't remember 2, 3, 5, up to 10 years later. If if you realize that your IP filter is actually 10 years old, might be that you have changed your IP. No, it happened. Is there a filter that includes all relevant hostings? You know that in Google Analytics you may have some spam, from external spam. So usually a good include filter is to make sure that you only get on Analytics only what you should get. So only the host name that is kind of whitelisted. This filter will probably exclude spam, but also Google Cache and Google Translate. But because it's actually not on your host name. But do you actually care about people who actually check the website from Google Cache and from Google Translate? Usually they're not very relevant, so you can still check them on the unfiltered view anyway. So you can just cancel them and just keep on the main host name. It should be okay for you. If I speak too fast, or if you have any question or any ideas, just tell me. We'll have some discussions after my 5 or 6 slides I have. 5. Do you have the anti-spam robot checked? Is the time zone okay? Don't forget that the time zone there.
Sorry, this bullet point number 5, is it really useful today to teach?
Yes, it is. And it is actually retroactive. So that means that if you have it checked, and because it happened to me that it was checked, and it was actually canceling my measurement protocol hit for the server, and so I unchecked it, and the hits that were hidden actually came back. So yes, it's useful, and it helps to cancel some spam. Not for every properties, but not for every spam, but it is useful. Do you have the site search set up? And is the site search in lowercase? Because usually you don't care about the case. You don't care if it's case sensitive for a site search. If you're looking for address, if it's a D in upcase or just lowercase, you don't really care about that. So you should have everything in lowercase. Are there any goals and how many active? Same for content grouping. You sometimes forget to create some content grouping, and as it's not retroactive, it's always good to make sure that you create them as quickly as possible. So it's kind of a checklist, and you probably know about most of these ones.
Sorry, question?
Yeah.
And for the views, we have, like you said, main, test, and raw.
Yeah.
But we have our sites that operate in different markets, like in Germany and with different languages, Denmark and German. Is it a good practice to create a view for every language or market, like /em/de, like that different, or you said just have what options?
Depends. You can create different properties, or you can different views. Usually, what I would suggest is to create different properties if you have a lot of visitors, and if you don't care about having a total number of people, so then you can create properties. But on the other hand, if you have a lot of people that goes from English to French to German, and you want to see their path, usually then you create everything in one property, and then you create some views so that you can have a nice reporting. Especially the views for one language or for one country is nice, especially for sharing. Share the report with someone, and you can have different goals as well, and different channel grouping, different content grouping. So it may be a good idea to have some views. And if you have a lot of data, then you should have a property, because then you will have less hit on one property, so you have a less sample. The sampling is on FreeGA. Talk mostly about FreeGA, not FreeSystem. Default channel grouping. Do you often change the default channel grouping? No? Yeah, yes, I hope you do. So the default channel grouping is something that you have to know about it. It's not retroactive compared to a customized channel. And it's also the only one that you have access in the API, and especially in Google Data Studio. So if you create some nice reports, in Data Studio, you have to change your default channel grouping. And there are some things that I don't really like in the way Google handles some of the channels, especially in organic. It basically forgets to about Yahoo, even Yahoo. Seriously, Google, Yahoo? You forget about it? You think Google already forgot about 2001, 2002 when Yahoo actually launched Google? But yeah, anyway. So Yahoo is not recognized anymore as a search engine. Same for Google Quick Search Box that you may sometimes have on Android. I don't really know what it is, but it's still organic, and it probably has some local search engine as well. That is there some things like DuckDuckGo as well. Is not recognized as a search engine. So I changed, and I have one regularized question that we created and that we put for all of our clients, so that we make sure that all these small search engines are actually in organic. Same for email. Google Analytics will put every medium email without the dash or anything as email, but in French we actually write email with a dash usually, e-mail, so it's not recognized, it's pain. Same for newsletter. No, usually newsletter is an email, but it's not recognized as by default as an email, so I put that in the default channel. So if my client makes this UTM medium or UTM source newsletter, I will be sure that it's actually into email. It's just more like a hack of the default channel grouping, something that I have to add. And the same for the webmail. So you know that Outlook and some other well-known email webmail providers sometimes shows up in your referral, and you may want to add that in one channel. So we actually add one channel grouping for all the webmail that we know about. Okay. So this is a few hacks that it doesn't change much about your referral, but it still cleans up your data a little bit. So we do change that without even telling the client, because it's no big change, but it cleans the data quite well. So the client usually is happy with that, even though he doesn't even know we did that, but he's still happy. Some other settings like is the user ID setup. Sometimes happen that we actually just make the collection of user ID on GTM, but we forgot to create the view in GA. It happens, so we have to check if we have created the view in the user ID, so that we should do the job properly. Yeah, something that we should also check is the bad collecting. That's something that we should do on semi-automatically. Right now it's more manually, but we are doing that. For example, is there a GA triggered on the 404 page? This is something that is quite nice to check, because usually clients forget to put GTM on the 404 or on the 500. So the 404 is easy to check. 500 is a little bit more difficult. You cannot ask your client, hey, please, can you just fuck up your website so that you can know if there is any GTM on it. So 404 is okay. You can check if there is a GTM. It's nice. Is there some undefined null bullshit random things like that in events, category, action, or label? Is there a page with a lot of entries and very low bounce rate or very high bounce rate that can actually tell maybe there is a problem with these pages? Is there any useless parameters, useless URL parameters? Sometimes you have some token ID, or even sometimes you have email or the name of the phone of a contact form, for example, that is actually in the URL parameter, and it ends up being in your report. Bad stuff. So you want to make sure that you have checked all the parameters that can happen in your URL. Hard to check this one, but it would be nice if we could find a way to check that. Are there any campaigns from the clients without any UTM source or UTM medium? It's hard to know, but something that we can do, especially for email, is to check if there is a sudden spike in direct traffic. It may mean that there is some email that has been triggered and that we don't know about. But for other types of campaign, it's a little bit more difficult to know if they actually messed up or not. So yeah, this is a few things that we are checking. Any comments? So we try to monitor the website of our clients. So we use Uptime Robot. I don't know if you do you know Uptime Robot? It's just a ping. It just pings the website and checks if there is one keyword. So for the keyword, keyword in the HTML. So we check the GTM. Check if the GTM is there, and if it's not there, we just have a GTM or the GA for people who are just in GA. And if there is no GTM, well, we receive an alert. So usually it's more like when the page go 500 because the server is down, or the DNS is down, or there is a 404 or something. So when there is a problem with the website, we are sometimes the first to know. So even though I think it should be the webmasters and the actual administrator, the system administrator that should know what is on server, sometimes we, as well analysts, we have to tell the client, hey, do you know your website is down? Oh, no, we didn't know about it. It's an added value. They are happy with that. They know that we care about them, but even though it's not our job, we still check that. Second one. So do you know the language? You have FR, EN, DE, everything. There is one weird language that is C. Have you ever heard about that? This one. Actually, we realized that all the you can check on your own analytics account. If you have a lot of different hits, you may have some of this language C, and it's actually spam. I tested on a bunch of different websites, and it's actually all spam. 100% bounce rate and useless data. So now we exclude this as by default for all of our clients. And the reason why we discovered that and why we are actually filtering that for all of our clients is because we actually created Google Analytics check, that is actually checking if Google Analytics is actually triggered on the website, and the language of this user agent is C. I don't know why. I didn't develop it myself, but in fact, actually, this language that is recognized by Google Analytics. So if we exclude this, we exclude not only our own robot, but also other types of robots monitoring. So this helps. I don't know how HubScan is actually doing for this language stuff. I think they have to figure out by IP. Does anyone use HubScan here? No, well, we should ask them. Nice word, by the way. So a few more added stuff. Sometimes when you end up on the thank you page after an order confirmation, you may have some referral, likewise PayPal or your bank or something. And you don't want that, of course, in your report, because you don't want all your sales to be attributed to your bank system. So you will tell me, okay, you can just exclude that as a referral. In the analytics property, you exclude this, and you're okay. The problem is that, for example, if you have international, so I work with one of the main football clubs in France, and so they have sales from all over the world, and so they have maybe 100 different banks that can be referral for their order confirmation page. So we cannot just keep track of all the banks and the change of the domains and everything. It's just a mess. So the solution we came up with is just when you arrive on this page, on the confirmation, we just cancel the referral. We say, hey, we don't want any referral on this thank you page, because it's totally unlikely that we may have some normal referral that arrives there, because nobody should arrive on this thank you page. So just remove all referral information from this hit. And yes?
So can you just detail accurately how did you?
We just do in Google Tag Manager for this specific page. We actually we use the it's DR, I think. and we put nothing. So DR is the document referral. This is the parameter that is sent with the hit. We put the how do you call that?
Ampersand.
Ampersand, yeah. Before, so that it's hard coded in Google Tag Manager. You know, I will show you. Yeah.
Do you append the URL to that? Where do you?
I can show.
Sure.
I will show on this. Yeah. So basically, I have to remember what can I use that for? What I can create it. Right first. Random test.
Probably do you create a referral if you open a specific page with the GCamp?
Yes, we just cancel this.
Mhm.
So you just take your main view. No. And so it's a normal one. And here, sorry for the French, but you know the interface, so that's okay. So I think it's DR, document referral. You have to check if it's right or not. And I make a lookup table saying that so you look at the all in French, maybe it's weird. Yes. I put the page path. What's this? So let's say it's the thank you page. And I want nothing. Okay? And by default I will have the okay. You understand this one?
Yeah.
So referral or not?
So you overwrite?
Yes. Yes. Just have to check if it's DR or not. I just don't really remember the actual
Just
parameters.
curious.
Yeah.
So do you have to create that DR variable, or is it already defined in GTM?
No, it's not defined. You have to create it.
Okay.
The referral is easy. You have just to check it, you know, and you have to create all of this, and you have to test it, of course, because usually I put that in my main page view, you know. So if I mess up with it, you know, I can basically get no source at all for all the website, you know. So you should check that a little bit, or maybe on a test version before you actually put that type. You know. But it's pretty robust. It works, and it can also work for the confirmation page after an email, for example. So usually after an email, you don't really want the webmail to be a referral. So with that, you can cancel, but you can still, you know, add the referral in a custom dimension, for example. So usually I have one custom dimension when I put the actual referral, you know, so that I make sure that I still get the referral. I also create one for the URL, you know, so my referral, my actual URL, and then I'm good to go. You know. I have all my technical information I could need for debugging, and then I try to have the cleanest data possible for my client. This actually some of these tips actually come from Peter Monnier. Thanks to him. The URL, the actual URL in the custom dimension is the one that gave me the idea. One of the MeasureCamp admin. Is it okay for that? Does the checkout conversion funnel look good? You know, the checkout steps conversion funnel is pretty good. However, sometimes you can have it mess up, you know, when you have some kind of option, you know, like for example, if you have to register, if your user has to register or to sign up. Usually now what we do is everything that is optional, we put that as an option, and we only put the checkout steps that are actually mandatory. Okay, so that we make sure that it's will actually be like that as a stair, you know, as some steps, so that we don't have just. Sometimes I don't like that. It doesn't look good. So we try to have this, and sometimes it just breaks because one of our clicks, you know, just break. any reason. A few other things that you check. Is there any rogue referral? You know, the rogue referral is when you have a single page app, and for example, you come from Facebook, and the I don't exactly remember how but it's kind of a bug in Google Analytics that can come up when you have a single page app. So you have to make sure that there is no rogue referral. There is a nice article from Shimo Hava about that. So that rogue referral, Shimo, you will find a nice article about it. Same with parasitic sessions with new referral, especially Facebook login. It can be a pain in the ass when you add a Facebook login and then you have plenty of visits from Facebook. It's your own it's your own sessions, dummy. So it breaks the session in half. It sucks. GDPR. So we do have a GDPR checklist, even though we haven't used it very much now. So is there a cookie collection consent banner? And is it too harsh? Does it do what it is supposed to? Is there a cookie explanation page? Is it accurate? Because there are a lot of cookie pages that are actually not accurate at all, you know, because the lawyer did actually write it, and the web analyst is not even aware of what's going on in this cookie page. That's just totally nonsense. Are there any personally identifiable information in the URL, in the custom dimension, or any event action label? You know, if there is anything that is personal, cancel all that. Are there any GA access with a Gmail account or a generic one? You know, normally, to be really sure that the data is in the right hands, you have to make sure that it's the right hand of the right company. So it should not be Gmail account. It should be the actual company. Same for GTM, and especially with GTM, it's a very important for security, and you can check one option in GTM that will only allow publishing for accounts with double authentication. You know, when you have to enter your password and you receive a text on your mobile. So ideally, you should check this option. We do not, but you should. At least we will ask our clients to do so. You know, if they say no, we don't want to, we have done the job. You know, we are asking just to make sure. And what about you? Just to show how. Yes. So just like this. So we put the website, and then we have this huge checklist, and we just have to say yes or no. No. Yes. Or if we are actually blocked, no. So blocked means that we cannot actually check it because, for example, we don't have the right. We don't have access to the view, or we don't have access. Admin access, for example, or it's not using GTM. Do you have anything to add? Something that some good tips to put in the checklist?
So one of the ones we use is to make the whole URL lowercase and also append slash at the end of it, so that it's always consistent and all your page names are all the same. So you don't end up with duplicate page names in your page list.
If you put the right URL in the custom dimension,
yeah, you can do that and then lowercase everything and then add the slash at the end as well.
Yes.
Clean up a lot of our data anyway.
Yeah, that's should do that. That's a good idea. Have you ever encountered this invisible symbol at the end of the URL? There is one very tricky symbol at the end of the URL. Exact same URL. You can't even see this symbol. It actually makes two different URLs in your report. Totally web analytics nightmare. And it doesn't work with Flickr, and you cannot even mix with that. Not even in GTM. There's an article about that. If you want to really piss off web analysts, just send some piece with that. Anything else? You won't piss me off with some random hits, so yeah. Thank you.